Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about the changes that could be seen in the human zygote and till it attains the entire parturition stage. Now, as we are already familiar about this, the first is the region of fertilization. Fertilization occurs at this region of the fallopian tube that is called as the ampullary ischemic junction. When a sperm arrives here, the secondary oocyte from here moves due after ovulation. The stage has occurred where the secondary oocyte is released and the Graafian follicle gets ruptured. This gives rise to corpus luteum, which is also known as yellow body. Here, what do we observe? The secondary oocyte moves out of the ovary, enters into the oviduct. As it moves further, if a sperm enters inside, it will bring with itself APF, that is anaphase promoting factor. In the presence of this, it will carry out the activation of the ovum. The ovum, which is still present in the secondary oocyte stage, is now about to undergo its complete phase where metaphase 2 will end and it will initiate anaphase 2 as well as telophase 2. So at the end, what we are obtaining is a mature ovum. Once that is over, the cell so formed is called as what? The zygote. So once the zygote formation has occurred, once zygote has formed, within 24 hours, of the formation of zygote, the first cleavage occurs. Now, what is cleavage? Cleavage is the first mitotic division. It is the first mitotic division which is seen in the zygote. Now, when this division occurs, remember there is the animal pole, the region from where the polar body had got detached, and then there is the vegetal pole. This is the animal pole, this is the vegetal pole. This forms an axis. The first cleavage division occurs along this axis. It is the animal pole and vegetal pole. So the first cleavage division gives rise to a two-cell stage. Then the two-cell stage will further divide to form four-cell stage. But this second division also occurs at a 90-degree at right angle to the previous division. That too, it is occurring longitudinally. Another cleavage division which would occur would be occurring transversely. So that is now giving rise to 8-cell stage. So all these cleavage divisions here are of holoblastic kind, because in humans the egg is alecythal, which means it does not contain a yolk. As it is seen in case of reptiles and birds, a yolk is present, so complete cleavage is not seen in them. In case of humans, yolk is absent, so it is showing complete cleavage, which is also called as holoblastic cleavage. Once this 8-cell stage is attained, we call this as morula. In fact, the stage which ranges from 8 to 16 cell, the 8 to 16 cell stage is called as morula. This morula still has an intact zona pellucida. The zona pellucida, which was formed in order to avoid polyspermy and to promote monospermy, is still intact. So what we observe here is the cells, even though they undergo division, they are unable to increase in their size. Now after this stage, it enters into the blastula stage. The structure so formed here is called as blastula. It takes around 6 to 7 days to attain this stage. Morula forms within 4 days of the fertilization. The first cleavage occurs within 24 hours of the fertilization. Now, once this blastula is formed, what happens here? The zona pellucida, which was present in case of morula, will now start disintegrating, and that allows the cells to rearrange themselves. They arrange in such a manner that they will leave behind a cavity. So, if I draw the structure of blastula here, we will observe that it is lined by cells towards the outer part. The cells present here will be called as trophoblast. Then there will be a cavity here. This cavity is called as blastocele, and here there is an aggregate of cells. This cells aggregate is called as inner cell mass. We call this as inner cell mass. Now within 1 week of the fertilization, you will observe that the blastula undergoes implantation. Implantation occurs in which layer? The endometrium. Once implantation has occurred, few changes would be noted here. the trophoblast will start forming finger-like projections. These finger-like projections are now termed as chorion, or you may call it as chorionic villi, which is later going to take part in the formation of placenta. This is the chorionic villi. Then the blastocyst is going to form the amniotic sac, or you can say the amniotic cavity. This amniotic cavity is supposed to be filled with a fluid, and that fluid is the amniotic fluid. Then comes here the inner cell mass, which is going to form the embryo proper. So these few changes are noted here in the blastocyst. Now, with the advancement of this, you will observe few more changes. The blastula has undergone implantation. Few changes have been noted. Now, next, if we talk about the next coming stages, we will observe that the placenta which is formed has a very important role to play. The placenta here, the placenta has two parts. One is the part which belongs to the mother. So, there is the maternal part, and then there is the part which belongs to the fetus, maternal as well as the fetal part. The maternal part is called as decidua basilis, whereas the fetal part is called as chorion. It is also very important to remember that blending or mixing of blood does not occur here. Here, the exchange of substances occur through placenta through the process of diffusion. So it is just the exchange of substances across a membrane, but not proper mixing of the blood. What are the functions carried out by placenta? Firstly, if you observe the placenta, you will see this not only allows the transport of nutrients. So this is the mother's blood vessel, this is the fetal blood vessel. Mother, that is maternal one, and the fetal, that is chorion. Across them, from the mother, the nutrients will be passed on. Also, the mother produces certain antibodies. So antibodies will be passed on. There are some important hormones which will again be transported from the mother to the fetal blood. Whereas if we talk about the fetus has excretory waste, the fetus has CO2 which it has produced after the metabolic activity, even that has to be passed out. So this exchange is observed among the placenta. This placenta is also termed as hemochorial placenta. Now, after this placenta, we are going to study about some of the hormones being secreted by placenta. The very important hormones being secreted of all of this, the first is HPL, human placental lactogen. As the name says, it will help in the production of milk. It stimulates the production of milk. Then there is another one which is called as HCG, which stands for human chorionic gonadotropin. In fact, this is the one which is detected during the pregnancy test. It is not the progesterone, but it is the HCG. Since it has been secreted from the fetal part of the placenta, it confirms pregnancy. So when the serum is collected from the mother, it is the HCG which has been detected. If it is present, the pregnancy is confirmed. Then there is the relaxin hormone. Relaxin is responsible for the relaxation of pubic symphysis, which is a connective tissue which holds both the coxal bones together. Now, after that, it will also help in dilation of the cervix, and that will be followed by further the fetal ejection reflex, which helps in the release of oxytocin, which is further going to induce uterine contraction. Throughout this period, estrogen and progesterone together help in maintaining the thickening of the endometrium. But not only this, progesterone inhibits any uterine contraction throughout the gestation period. only by the end of the pregnancy the secretion of progesterone will increase. That is again due to the fetal ejection reflex. And lastly, it is prostaglandin. Prostaglandin again has an important role to induce uterine contractions. So these are some of the hormones. In the next class, we'll study about the development that occurs during the several trimesters. Like we know, it is the pregnancy is of 9 months. In the 9 months, there are, we can say, there are three trimesters. What body parts develop during which time, that we are going to see in the next class. Thank you.